Oh my god, the feels already. Okay, Wrath
so
of
we
the
started off on a fiery note.
Varrock did not. That
Let's
did not
go,
sit
Drone.
well with him. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
Zappy boy.
It's eating him alive.
Oh, let's talk about World of Warcraft. So, you got you played the scenario, right?
Both sides, absolutely.
Yeah, you can stay, Cupcake. I played beta. God, thank you so much, Blizzard, for hooking us up. I got to play alpha and beta. Awesome. I didn't get too far because I wanted to go through the characters. I wanted to see what character I wanted to push through for the next one. Now, here's my question. Do you think, okay, you know how, like, near the end of an expansion, your character that was always squishy and couldn't really do much, now all of a sudden can get through the harder questing lines? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So, do you think beta's that way? Because if it's not, oh my god, it'd be awesome. But I think it's beta, so they probably juice you up and make everybody easier to kill. Because if that's the case, then my mage might not make it.
I would probably say there's a 50-50 chance, because one thing they do want to do with beta is hear how you are with the content. This is a time where they can work on level scaling, mob scaling. So I think they may give you great gear, but they also want to make sure that you're not in God mode.
So, okay. Because if it... Oh my god. Because ever since... it's so much to talk about. So, I love the movie Doctor Strange. And I fell in love with it right away. I'm like, because all the other superheroes, I know we're kind of basing this off, but just go with me. All the other superhero movies, I couldn't really get into a character. I was like, oh, I like Iron Man. Oh, I like Captain America, blah, 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 blah. But when Doctor Strange came out, I was like, this is the guy. This is what I want. This is what I don't even care. I'm going to get all the comic books, whatever. This guy is perfect because it reminds me of my mage. I know it sounds stupid, but I can get into it more. So that's why I was like, oh my god, my mage has to fucking make it to the end, dude. So, and I got my Demon Hunter as my backup, of course. But okay, so the scenario was generally the same as it was in beta. I was very impressed with it. I knew right away, like, what all kind of happened before the storyline came out more. That, you know, the Horde struck first, obviously. Now we can say that, right?
Absolutely. And I would say, if you're releasing this as a thing, just give people warning, like, tomorrow I'm going to talk about this, and I'm going to give people warning at the head of the show saying, hey, this is spoilers, just in case somebody, I accidentally spoiled somebody because I made a Frazley report.
Well, yeah, this is going to come out, like, days later. So.
Okay, yeah.
But do we know why she attacked Darnassus? Treadicil or whatever it's called?
There are different theories. So
they don't explain it.
Well, I have not read the two novellas. I've got the collector's edition coming next week, but it's still like 90-page novellas, so I got to find time to work on those. But I will put aside the argument that it's bad writing, where I think, looking at the cinematic, something changed in her. Because I don't think she intended to burn the tree. But then she goes back and looks at what happened and how she became Sylvanas.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's some pain she cannot get away. And are we at all going to talk about the book, or do you want to even keep the book out of this? Because
I don't really... I'm pro book. I want to read it. But I want to go with what we've seen so far.
And a book I want people to read, so I'm holding off on spoilers in the book too, because it's in its 6th printing, and Christy Golden deserves all the sales of the book. So I'm holding off on book spoilers as long as I can.
Now, you say you guys were talking about weird writing. I don't agree. I don't agree with that, because in the cinematics alone, it kind of gives you this depth of Sylvanas you don't know about. Like, she says in the scenario that you guys always wanted your piece, and then we had to just agree with it or whatever. I forgot what she said, but you know that line she says when she's sitting in the throne room and Adwin comes up?
Yeah.
So you add that piece to that cinematic when they were burning the tree, and she, like you said, didn't intentionally make it that bad. Like, I think she wanted a war. She wanted, and then now it's now because of this, she's getting like PTSD moments of her past. You know?
Well, and she lets her emotions run with her. She has a strategy, and I know she's thinking in the back of her head, but I think sometimes she's impulsive. I mean, that tree, to instantly change your opinion, I hate to say it, it's almost like a what we've seen in certain presidents. I don't want to say any more because that's where I don't want to get into. But I think Sylvanas is impulsive, but still the strategy. And in the tree shows, on a whim, she'll let her emotions run her.
Mm-hmm. But you can see where that comes from. Let's go back to her childhood, if you would, at least. You know, how she became the Scourge, how all this went down. She didn't have a chance to really evolve as a hero character or anything like that, or as a warrior, emotionally wise. It all kind of happened fast, didn't it? And she became Scourge, and then now she's the Horde leader. So yeah, all these emotions are running wilder because she kind of really got the short end of the stick becoming the Scourge, you know?
Well,
or the undead, I mean. I don't know if I'm saying the right terms.
She's somebody who wins the lottery but has not learned good financial sense.
Yes.
She won the lottery of power, and I even saw how she won as the war chief. Mm-hmm. There's either speculation that the Loa was influenced by an old god, or Sylvanas influenced Loa. There's some speculation I saw from people there, but I think Sylvanas came into power without learning how to properly handle power. Like we're seeing Anduin. Anduin is very compassionate, almost to a fault, but Sylvanas is power hungry, almost to a fault. We're seeing two very, or use the word flawed, but two leaders who got this heaped onto them. Because Anduin lost his dad. I mean, Varian was king until he died.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't mean to keep going, but I'm listening to this because I never really thought about the mirrored kind of world this is for those two. Because I never really focused on Alliance, because when I heard Horde did this to us first, they struck first, that changed my whole dynamic of how I was going to play the game.
Well, and don't think of the Horde as evil. I may play the Alliance-loving gnome, but I truly don't think the Horde is evil, and I don't think the Alliance is truly good. I mean, I play the Alliance as my main because I like it, but both sides are great in areas, and both sides are horrible in areas. I'm looking at like some of the things the Alliance has done. They've been horrible. Some things that the Horde have done. What's actually kind of interesting right now is you have Sourfang and Bane, who are both standing up to Sylvanas in a way. I mean, did you see Bane's for the Horde? I think if Bane did not have that Taran slow down stuff, I think he actually would have probably, like, I think he wanted to say something to Sylvanas, but he held his tongue.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the Horde itself is for a person, and you see, other than having a demon hunter, everything is either dwarf or what. Everything from the world I know in real life into this game is Lord of the Rings or whatever. So when it comes to the creatures, that's always like the opposing force. But I get you, it's not really that because there's no bad side. It's just this is an unhonorable fight, and I get it. When the orcs are talking about that, and I'm 100% backing them, and I don't get the cinematic where Sourfang and Spark Boy are talking, or what do they call him, Zap Boy?
Yeah, Zappy Boy is the meme, and Zakan's the official name.
Yeah, so I get him where he's just like, there's no honor in this. This is not for the Horde. This is for you, Sylvanas. This is your agenda versus let's think of us as a whole. You just want a war. And I get it. At least that's what I took from it. So if I'm wrong, interrupt me. Because the old soldier thing, that was really, really good. I really enjoyed it.
Without putting aside on real life politics, I want to bring an analogy because I think it is good to look at it in both, like, to look at how it mirrors our world. Mm-hmm. There are people in our government who don't like where the government's going. And they're like, this is the government we've worked hard for this is the United States I believe in, and it's not going the way I think it is. I don't agree with who's in charge, and I think that's how Sourfang's feeling. Sourfang's like, I have given so much to the Horde, but this is not the Horde that I signed up for. And it's
also
amazing to see that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Continue.
It's amazing to see an internal fight inside of the Horde.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The other thing that as adding on to that, you have that, but then there's an interpersonal fight he has with himself, because he's lasted through all these honorable wars and things that you should have died in to be remembered. Oop, I hit my microphone. To be remembered, to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, he was talking about his son that passed away and how he's like, damn it, I'm still here. And he's gone so far to now see a crappier side. So if he dies in this war, do you think he's going to feel like he got gypped from his glorious ending?
Absolutely. And we've seen that in leaders. We've seen in history leaders who were remembered badly because of the time that they died, but we forget the great things that they've done.
Yes. Well, I think we covered the Horde side now. It's going to be exciting to see. Sorry, I'm eating my lunch at the same time. It's going to be exciting to see how this ends up, because my predictions are going to be completely null and void, because I don't want to predict anything this time around. I want to let it just slide and see how I go. Is Jaina Proudmoore a Guardian now?
She definitely has power.
She got some fat power.
I know. It's like
she has her own boat.
Yeah, I saw that in the Warbringer scenario of the Warbringer cinematic. I was like, I hope that ship comes in. Yeah, flies in. Where I wonder though is her allegiance to the Alliance or to the greater good?
See, that's the thing. So, okay, what happened to Khadgar? Is he stuck in that world that we just left, the Legion?
That is right. We haven't seen Khadgar.
Yeah, and he was the Guardian, right? So does that mean she's the new Guardian? Is he stuck in Argus or whatever the hell that planet is with Legion? Oh, I'm sorry. Cupcake is also commenting on the show for everyone who would pop into Discord or whatever. The only problem is that we're trying to get this through because I got to do another show. So sorry, I'm not really commenting on your stuff right now, Cupcake. So just figured I'd say that. But no, so like, dude, and come on, she just moves the ship around and shoots arcane cannons that blow a wall. Dude, she's a Guardian. That's my thing. At least I'm going after.
Now, can you do like a quick synopsis of what a Guardian is? I think I know. I'm not always up on lore.
Now, here's the thing. I'm basing this off of the movie World of Warcraft that we just watched that was in theaters. So, what was the original guy's name? The one that's in Karazhan?
Medivh.
Medivh. Okay, so Medivh is a guy who's a guardian over that world, who is like the balance. If anything gets too out of whack, he comes in there and stops it. He's very powerful mage or some kind of sorcerer or whatever. And when he ends, another one has to take his place. So Khadgar became that because they noticed that Khadgar didn't really have an alliance with a alliance because he didn't agree a lot with the mages. He could tell that he was unique from all the other ones. So he became the next Guardian. Well, what I'm saying is, so he was a Guardian over Azeroth. So then now he's not an Azeroth anymore, because we haven't, like you said, we haven't seen him. And all of a sudden, Jaina Proudmoore, who was already a very powerful mage, is horribly powerful in a cinematic. So she has to be taking his place, in my opinion.
That or they couldn't find the voice actor for
Khadgar.
I would, the one thing I would say about the Warcraft movie lore, I have heard, and I need to look into this more, so this is one thing where I may be speaking out of my rear end. I've heard that the Warcraft movie lore, because of the fact that it was for a movie and because it was like through different things, its lore may not quite be the lore of WoW or Warcraft. But that is a good question, though. Where's Khadgar? Yeah,
but I'm not a big lore guy. I watch lore when it's Noble. What is it, Noble?
Noble, yeah. Noble
I
87,
love
I believe.
his stuff. I love some of the other stuff too. I love, because you guys cover a little bit of that too, but on Frazzlecast. But what I'm saying is that I don't like reading lore. I don't like, unless it's in a video form, I can enjoy it because it just bores the shit out of me. So, because it's a lot to read. It has nothing to do with anything else. It's just, there's a lot to cover.
Well, I was just watching Battle.net News last night, and I want to give them credit because I came up with the idea in their chat. I had an interesting perspective because they were asking, like, do we like hearing things from different sources? It's almost like life again. We see something in one medium, then we read about it, and watch a movie about it. What if, in a way, WoW is turning into, you see it in game, but if you want to learn more, you read tomes about it, you watch movies about it, and then our job as people who, the job of anybody who does the extracurricular mediums, their job is to then help people who only play the game to understand what are the small details are. Like, I'm hearing things from Elegy and A Good War. I'm like, oh, and there's stuff in Before the Storm. I won't say anything, but I'm going to say Before the Storm has helped a lot. And I enjoyed that as an audiobook. It was kind of nice to have something WoW that, when I wasn't playing WoW on my trip. But I think in a way it's kind of exciting that there's stuff, as long as you get the main story beats in the game. That's the big sticking point, is that the game needs to be understandable. Then you can read other stuff outside of it.
And see, the first time I totally get it, because like outside sources are great. For example, back in the day, before dungeon journals and everything, you had to figure out fights. You go to TankSpot. You go to Wowhead. You have to go outside sources and get a perspective from all different views. So, yeah.
WoW's not... Yeah, Thoughtbot. I played it when, in my circle of people in WoW, Thoughtbot was cheating. That's why I never used Thoughtbot a lot when I was playing. I know, it sounds weird.
Wow.
You were only allowed to look at it for loot tables to kind of get a perspective. But if you look at it at quests, you were cheating.
Yeah. Oh, I miss Thoughtbot though, because that was my go-to back in vanilla. It was like, oh, just go to Thoughtbot, really? And I typed it in there because it was just a search thing, and I was like, oh my god, this is awesome.
I mean, nowadays I don't always explore WoW. I just if I get stuck on a quest for more than like 3 seconds, I go to Wowhead. Give me a top waypoint.
I had the great harsh reality slapped in my face by Budmans. I was having some trouble with this quest, and he goes, just read it. I don't want to read it. He goes, well, then you're not going to do the quest, are you?
Yeah, it's like when I go to an area where the arrow tells me, I'm like, wait, what's the... Oh, I'm supposed to do the one thing and the thing and the thing. It's in the quest text. Ah!
Yeah. Even nowadays, I catch myself going, oh, let me read through this real quick, because it probably tells me what I need to do. So, yeah, it's good times. But other than that, though, I think that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. I mean, that's what I wanted to talk about, yeah.
One final question for you, and because I've got a couple thoughts on it. Will we be able to reclaim Teldrassil? Or not reclaim. If you're the Horde, will we be able to use Teldrassil? Or if you're the Alliance, will we be able to use the Undercity? Because those are two very valuable cities that are now just lying, burning, and blighted. I don't want to...
Right, that's... God, that was another one I was thinking about a while ago, like actually last night. So yeah, because remember, they threw Blight all in, or is it called Blight? All the green shit in the Undercity.
Goneas.
In Undercity.
Oh yeah, in Undercity. Yeah, the same thing that they used on the Goneas. Mm-hmm. We can never return to Goneas because of that.
So we can't clean it up?
I hope we can, because...
Because Jane friggin' put some put some frozen stuff on the ground and pushed it all back, remember? So...
Okay, How spoilerific do you want to go on this? Because I saw an interesting tidbit.
Well, I don't care. It's the Miscellaneous Podcast. This is the Summoning Stone.
Well, with the Undercity bombing, bombing, blighting, with the Seas of Lordaeron, there was a tomb that was holding a old god. Mm-hmm. Well, people have noticed after the siege, that seal is broken.
Huh. What seal is this, and where do you look for it at?
There's a Wowhead thing on it. It's for Mordoth, I think. I probably got the name wrong.
So I'm not really big on the whole God and Titans thing. Like we went to Oldar and Oldham or whatever the hell it was, and all that. I didn't care too much for that because I'm for the present, here and now, not the fucking Greek gods of long ago. I know it sounds mean to say that, but it's just me. Oh well. But yeah, you're right. Now, Tregesil or whatever, yeah, I don't know. I mean, is it forever going to burn? Or does it go out eventually?
Because, I mean, the Cataclysm, we saw zones that are still in disrepair, and like I said, Goneas is still blighted. It would be cool to actually reclaim areas, because the Horde would have a great thing, I mean, depending on how much rid of a tree. But the Undercity, the Blight, once it's cleared out, could really be good reinforcements, especially because one of the war fronts is going to be probably not that far from the Undercity. Mm-hmm. I mean, part of the reason why they liked the Undercity was of how well fortified it was.
Mm-hmm. But I will say this, though. At the end, whatever they decide, whatever happens to do it, man, this has been, in my opinion, since I've played the game from start to finish, the most piercing wound that we've ever done to each other. Horde or Alliance.
Well, someone was saying that Theramore, it was Epic Insanity, said that Theramore wasn't quite as painful from what people thought. Whereas this, how divided we are. I mean, and how sadly people are attacking devs and writers because of the opinion. I mean, this has really been a divisive thing.
Yeah, and you're right. Because Darnassus and Undercity have emotional. This game is emotional. You know, there's friends that I have that passed on that played the game with me years ago. Me and one of the guys at work were talking about that last night. Because he's playing vanilla now because of the new thing they have, and he's like, I want to relive it. I want to go through it. And I'm like, God, yeah. And I'm thinking about all the years I've played. And, you know, these two major cities have emotional connections to us. You know? Because Undercity was that place you ran across when you're in your 30s and 40s, running up to Scarlet Monastery. And then in Halloween, you got to go over there and do this. And then when you go Horde for a little while, you go straight to Undercity and Thunder Bluff. And you're like, this is what it looks like on the outside from this angle. Woo! Same thing with Darnassus. And like, for me, a mage, back in the day, all the mages on my server were like, we go to Darnassus to do all our work because there's no one there. And we teleport there so we can do our auction house or banking and no one bothers you. And I'm like, ooh, that's so cool. Not anymore.
Well, unless you talk with one of the dragon aspects, then you can still go back to the old one.
Yeah.
But in your mind, it's either burning or blighted.
Yes. So, and it's weird. Like I said, you're right. You hit the nail on the head with those things you said, and that's why I was commenting on that. I think, it's going to be exciting. I can't wait for next week. I still got to buy it. I haven't bought it yet.
I already bought it because it came out. I was like, I got to get all the stuff. So I pre-ordered them, and I pre-ordered the collection edition because if we're going to get stuff back, we'll get it.
Heroes of the Third Fleet, steel yourselves! Report to King Greymane at once!
Oh my god. So everybody was like, are you going to get burned out from playing beta and all this other stuff? And when we did the scenario, I was like, oh my god, let's go live! Like, this excitement just flooded me that reminded me how much of a nerd I am for this game.
Well, and I think, I keep saying that the game is not dead. I know it's 14 years old, I believe, this year. But, I feel they've got a story team that has really decided they're going to dig deep and really flesh out the story. They've got people who understand the engine. I mean, some of the stuff that we're getting in BFA, whoever would have thought that the engine from 2004 could be doing some of the stuff it is now. I know it's dated in some areas. It's not flashy. It's not Fortnite-y, but it's doing some amazing things.
A previous show of mine, Evolution of Video Games, talks about how in reality, video games, even though they're old, whatever, they're just skins over original Atari ways of how they do games. And hearing that and doing all this other stuff, and then you just saying that, oh my god, it just brings me back to that, because I'm like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter, it's a new skin over it. But WoW's doing great. I can't wait to see expansion is. God, I hope I'm not going to be disappointed. And Jaina, I think, is going to be the next Guardian.
Absolutely. Guardians of the Galaxy. Wow! No, I was CSI.
For the Alliance!
If you'd like to hear more on this, head on over to the Summoning Stone podcast. Look for episode 61. And there we talk more about this with other co-hosts.
Welcome to Frazleville. I am Mayor Frazley. What is Frazleville? On your left, you see the huge Frazzlecast. This building has been around since June of 2017. It is the centerpiece of Frazleville. You never know who you will meet inside of the Frazzlecast building. On the right, the Frazzle Report. It is the latest source of information for World of Warcraft, and they are never afraid to report the news that no one else is willing to ever report on. Up ahead, the inspirational building, it is Be Great Today, and through it, inspiration, you will hear stories. It's amazing. The services are always packed every Sunday, so get there early. Now, this dilapidated building over here is the Tony D Zone. If you go inside of there, you don't know what you'll get, and he can ramble, so don't talk to him, otherwise you won't be able to shut him up. Thank you all, everybody. Have a great day.
Hi, I'm Sephariah. Come on an adventure with me. From Warcraft to Hearthstone, music to books, and everything nerdy in between, visit the blog at sephariahsadventure.wordpress.com.
If you liked what you heard, please subscribe to the Miscellaneous Podcast. You can find this podcast on almost all podcast platforms and on YouTube. To contact the show, send your emails to miscellaneouspodcast17@gmail.com. You will also find us on Twitter at PJ Miscellaneous, and you'll find them on Facebook at Facebook/Miss MISC Podcast.